Hey, what's up everybody, ForneverWorld here today to do my review of One Piece episode 540, and I gotta start off this review by saying that somebody in my previous review actually corrected me, and they were correct, because in the previous review I said that Fisher Tiger was more like Martin Luther King, and that Queen Otohime was like Rosa Parks, but he said, no, Fisher Tiger is kind of more like Malcolm X, and Queen Otohime was like Martin Luther King, and they were absolutely correct with this episode, because we see in this episode that Fisher Tiger, he sees the cruelty of what humans were doing to, the fishmen, and to, just the fishermen in general and everything, and mermaids and stuff, and he wanted to fight back rather than, like, going the peaceful route, opposed to Queen Otohime. She's like, let's sign petitions, let's try to do things the legal way, maybe we could come to a peaceful resolve like that, and it's definitely more so like that, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, opposed to like Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, because Fisher Tiger really was just on some, Rambo, we're gonna go in there and beat people down stuff, and nonetheless, that's definitely what this episode proved. I want to start off by saying Queen Otohime was kind of a little bit weird in this episode to me, because she seemed a bit like, Shirahoshi, but in a much weirder way, because Shirahoshi's just a big crybaby, but Queen Otohime, she just, like, in the beginning of this episode, it's like a 5-minute slap fest. She just keeps slapping this dude for, like, trying to rob somebody, and she slapped him so hard, I think it's like she broke her hand or something. She fractured her hand, and she just keeps slapping him and slapping him and slapping him, and it's like 5 minutes of this woman just slapping the crap out of this guy, and I'm like, is it over yet? Slap, slap, slap. And then some kids run over, and because one of the kids had snot running down his nose, and not both sides of his nose, she slaps him in the face. And I'm like, this woman is weird, and if that was my kid and she slapped him, I'd probably slap her back or something. Like, what are you doing? This is a kid. Why are you just gonna go up to him and smack him because of something? It's like, have pride, and if you're gonna have snot, make sure... I don't know. It was just weird. Queen Otohime, she's like Shirahoshi is like, she's just generally a scaredy cat. She doesn't get out much. She doesn't see people, so she's the way she is because of that. But Queen Otohime is just weird. I don't know. I find her a little bit weird with that, but she is, for the most part, with her cause, she really wants to find peace, and I like that in this episode. It was displayed that, she's trying to sign petitions and everything, and the thing about it is, the fishermen just weren't going for it. They just didn't care, to be honest with you. They, like, when she's like, yo, look, if we just sign this, and they were like, we're not doing it. And it kind of made me feel bad for her, because she's trying to do things, she's trying to get things done, and they don't want to hear of it. We got Mr. Jamon sitting on his chair this episode. I was just laughing when he said, I don't know why, because I haven't thought of the whole Jamon thing in a while, and he was just sitting on his chair, and he's like, blah, 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 Jamon. So, not much really of Neptune in this episode. Pretty much nothing of the Straw House outside of the beginning of the episode, where they're like a story time, and they sit down with Jinbei. And pretty much that's more or less the gist of this episode. We basically see Arlong and Jinbei when they joined the Sunny Pirates or whatever with Fisher Tiger, so that they could basically fight back. And Arlong at this point had like this little rivalry with Jinbei, but we all know that Jinbei would have destroyed Arlong had they really went at it, because they would always go back and forth. Like, Arlong was a pirate, and Jinbei was like, you just look down on him, like, he's a filthy pirate. But in the end, they both joined forces with Fisher Tiger for the cause, and pretty much that's how the episode ends for the most part. I was expecting a little bit more with this episode. I thought we would get a little bit more. I wanted to see, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I wanted to see a little bit of I guess something more to the episode, because for the most part it was just like, hey, here's Fisher Tiger, hey, here's Otohime, hey, she's gonna slap the crap out of some dude for 5 minutes, and Fisher Tiger, he's just gonna walk around and put some tattoos on some dudes. So yeah, it wasn't a bad episode, but then again, I never really find a One Piece episode bad, because the reason why I never really say, like, I hated this episode, I despise this episode, is because what I read and what I watch, I enjoy thoroughly, and I'm not going to nitpick to the point of saying this was the worst episode of all time or something like that, because it's not necessary. If the episode wasn't that good, it's just meh to me, but I'm not going to, like, sit here and bash it, because there's no point. I enjoy, as long as I get to see my favorite characters on screen, I'm content. So overall, the episode isn't the best or anything like that, but it certainly wasn't something to go, ugh, because it's nice to see Arlong, it's nice to see Jinbei in his younger years, still had a little bit of blonde on him, and yeah, it was just pretty cool episode. I wanted to see more. That's the only thing I probably would say. That hopefully in the next episode we get some pretty epic stuff going on. I'm not going to spoil it once again, but there's some pretty crazy stuff to go on with, involving Fisher Tiger and Otohime, and hopefully the next episode we'll see exactly why Arlong set off in his quest for, dominance and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward for the next episode, to be honest with you, because this episode wasn't the greatest or anything like that, but it certainly was enjoyable. Let me know what you thought of the episode. What was your favorite moment? Was it Queen Otohime slapping the dude for 5 minutes? Was it Fisher Tiger with Jinbei and Arlong, and seeing them all getting together for this craziness that they were about to pull off on some Malcolm X stuff? Just the overall episode. What are your thoughts on it? But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up for this freaking craziness of Queen Otohime slapping dudes up for ForneverWorld. And as always, have an awesome day, people.